Hi folks, I'm Tina Hui with BNN. Happy Friday everyone. Or rather, it's looking to be a pretty apprehensive one when it comes to Bitcoin. SegWit2x has those watching Bitcoin developments holding its breath this week, and today is no slacker. The Bitcoin roller coaster continues, folks. Overnight here in the US, the Asian market saw Bitcoin touch an all-time record high of nearly $8,000 in USD, at a high of $7,997.17 in USD. The rally through Friday morning in the US happened after Bitcoin had wiped out as much as $38 billion in market capitalization following the suspension of an anticipated technology upgrade known as SegWit2x on November 8th. That hit shocked the entire ecosystem this week, both in price and in terms of technology development itself. Multiple reasons are being cited for the price volatility, and one of the more viable that is quickly taking over the Bitcoin sphere is that some investors were switching to alternative coins after SegWit2x had been announced as canceled. Meanwhile, over the course of this week, Bitcoin Cash more than doubled in the same period. Emails are flying in the last 24 hours as the entire crypto market has been in a frenzy. According to an email sent out by Spencer Bogard, head of research at Blockchain Capital, his sense is that today's rally is driven by a resurgence in interest and viability for the SegWit2x hard fork. Despite the fact that it was called off, there is still some group of people that will most likely follow through with the intended fork. As a result, he believes some capital is rotating out of other crypto assets and into Bitcoin to make sure they receive coins on both sides of the fork. Oh boy. In addition to that, Coinbase has sent out an email echoing similar sentiments at 7 p.m. in California on Thursday evening. Dear Coinbase customer, it read, there have been a number of developments with Bitcoin SegWit2x since our last update. No action is required and all funds stored on Coinbase remain safe. It then goes on to answer concerns and questions, which must be aplenty in the Bitcoin space, and explains how Coinbase is sticking to its latest update stance on feeling it's important for Coinbase to keep a neutral position in any fork. Coinbase believes that letting the market decide is the best way to ensure that Bitcoin remains a fair and open platform. Having said that, it goes on to explain its current position in support of everyone in the industry, explaining that last week the SegWit2x development team announced they would no longer continue with the project. In addition, a significant portion of miners and other community leaders also withdrew their support for the fork. However, despite these developments, a small number of miners may attempt to go forward with SegWit2x. In line with Bloomberg's reporting this morning, Coinbase is also in a holding pattern and sent an email because it wanted to provide clarity about the potential outcomes of the fork and what Coinbase will do in each scenario. Following Coinbase, most exchanges will also do approximately the same. See folks, this email is extremely timely, considering that if the fork does indeed happen, that fork will most likely happen today, maybe even in the next 2 hours, and that is the speculation today. Crazy, right? The Bitcoin SegWit2x fork has been set to happen at block 449,784. With forks, it's important to remember that block matters, not the date. Coinbase goes on to outline that it has decided that in order to protect customer funds, Coinbase will disable Bitcoin sends and receives at 2 a.m. Pacific time on November 17th and disable buys and sells an hour before the fork, which, get this folks, is currently predicted to occur between 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Pacific time today, November 17th, 2017. All functionality will be re-enabled shortly afterwards if that occurs. Talk about an intense moment of uncertainty for Bitcoin, with responsible actors in the space trying their best to remain flexible and also helpful. Coinbase continues with sharing the procedures of what they will do in each scenario, which is why it's dependent on the block, not the actual time. And here they are. Scenario 1. If the network is unusable. If support for the fork remains at current levels or decreases, the Bitcoin 2x network will be unusable. Coinbase will then not support withdrawals or trading, as it will not be possible to move the assets. Currently, they believe this is the most likely scenario for now. If the network does gain support at a later date, they will enable Bitcoin 2x withdrawals from the platform. In scenario 2, where the network is usable, if transactions are being confirmed at a reasonable speed and miner support is strong, Coinbase will allow customers to withdraw Bitcoin 2x. They will not immediately enable buys and sells as previously stated, but they may enable them at a later date. Talk about a puzzle for whoever is on the teams watching to see if SegWit2x does go on today. Bet you they're not getting any sleep. For those interested, Coinbase will keep customers updated through their blog. Do keep an eye out. How everything turns out is going to be very interesting to watch. So there you have it, folks. There may or may not be yet another fork in Bitcoin at the close of today, Friday, November 17th, 2017. With SegWit2x, Bitcoin is gearing up for what could be the biggest and least understood change to its software to date, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. The highly contentious hard fork, which is considered by some to be an upgrade to Bitcoin, was the second part of the New York Agreement, otherwise known as NYA, scaling plan, and would have increased the base block size to 2 megabytes. When all is said and done, we will see what happens with SegWit2x's immediate future and where the coins end up at the end of today. And that, at least, is something to count on. For now, I suggest we all hold on to our hats for a history-making and very interesting Friday. That's it for this bit of information today. Bye, folks.